Hello all. In a PCB, substrate forms a very important part. Substrate is actually the base of the PCB. The substrates, like if you see here in the image, the substrate which divide the copper layers in a PCB basically provides mechanical strength to the PCB as well as increases the reliability of the PCB and also increases the or provides the electrical isolation between the layers of a PCB. So when you are designing a multi-layer PCB, then it means it is the substrate that is allowing you to divide it into layers, and hence you claim that you have designed a multi-layer PCB, right? Now, when you are using that substrate, there are various types of substrates that can be used in a PCB, like depending on what frequency you are using a PCB, the substrate will be decided, and basically this substrate is what determines the electrical behavior of that particular PCB. Now, we generally hear that especially if you are using designing a microcontroller board or any simple analog circuits or any low frequency digital circuits, we generally see that we use the FR4 substrate material, especially for the lower frequencies. So what do you mean by FR4? In FR4, FR meant flame retardant. That means it is able to meet the UL specs which are required for the substrate. So to simply put it, it will not catch fire easily if used within the given specs. That's what it meant. Okay, and the FR4 basically the number near that FR indicates the class of that particular substrate. So in FR itself there will be number of classes. So this depends on what is the resin that is around this substrate. Like the resin could be a paper reinforced resin, or it could be a glass reinforced resin. So depending on what kind of substrate that we are planning to use, we determine the class. Okay, so or the class determines in which application you have to use what kind of substrate. Now if you see FR1 to FR3, this is basically a paper reinforced resin system. Now when you say FR4, that means you have a glass woven fiber and on top of it you have a resin that is being saturated on it, and that is what we are using, and that is what helps it to provide all the materials that we talk about the FR4. A very important point to know if you are an electrical engineer or a PCB layout engineer.